Test 1 2. Test 1 2. What is going on, YouTube? Welcome into another YouTube Live with Team Sztanyo. We call you guys the Team Sztanyo Clanyo. Welcome in. Want to give you guys an update on the Cincinnati real estate market, what's kind of going on here in early August, how that might affect you, whether you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky area. My day has been crazy today. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to have to kind of cut this one short. I'm a little all over the place. We probably won't go the entire hour today. So if you have questions and you guys are able to watch and you're jumping in, whether you have questions about real estate or moving to Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, anything about the area, make sure you jump in the chat, say hello. Make sure you get your questions in because we probably only got about 30 minutes today as opposed to a full hour. Hello. Oh, I'm trying to get this keyboard right. Okay, hello. Sztanyo Clanyo. Okay, hope you guys are having a good week. Hope you're having a good day. I get to have a date with my wife tonight, which is super exciting. Our childcare has been gone for the last month. Our nanny, she was at a Young Life camp in, where was she? Not Virginia. One of the newer ones. I forget where it was. But she's back. We get to have a date tonight. So very excited about that. That's been a few weeks overdue. And before we get into some of the real estate stuff, I want to show you guys some of the latest market trends that happened in July in the area. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about something else here that is important. Let's start with this right here. My Cincinnati Reds have been playing lights out lately. Your Cincinnati Reds. We are 3.5 games back from the Milwaukee Brewers. We've won 7 of our last 10. We've been hot. We swept the Pirates. We just keep winning series. Joey Votto has been dominating. In case you didn't see that, he had homers in 7 straight games. There's like only 8 people in Major League Baseball history who have done that. One of them being Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Bonds. He's on fire. He missed the 8th game by like 2 inches. He's been smoking the ball. So we're 3.5 back from the wild card. And I know you guys care about this, so that's why I'm showing it. And I'm sorry, 3.5 back in the division. And in the wild card, we're 3.5 back from San Diego and the Dodgers. We are coming after you. This Reds team has been super fun to watch. Nick Castellanos is like got so much swagger. Now this is the thing that kind of scares me, this run differential, is like the Dodgers have just been annihilating people all year. And so we're 6.5 back from them. Same with the Padres, and our run differential is 16. And so maybe we're getting lucky here. I don't know. Our bullpen has been a disaster. I think that's probably the main reason. But, yeah, Cincinnati in a playoff race down the stretch here. So that is always fun to be chasing down a pennant. And secondly, it's training camp time. Oh, look at this. This is going to get you excited, or it's going to get you really sad. One of the two things. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Come on. Let's go. Joe Mixon. That's probably super glitchy on your end. Tyler Boyd. T. Higgins. Jamar Chase. All right. I'm a huge Bengals fan. Last year I did some kind of Bengals breakdown games. And so on the YouTube Lives coming up, we are a few weeks out. I think we play our first preseason game this week and a few weeks out from the start of the NFL season. I don't know. The NFL, they do so many wrong things, but I still just like watching them. Are you guys like that? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. But Joe Burrow is completely recovered from his knee-crushing disaster of an injury. However, he is not super comfortable in the pocket yet, which makes sense. when your offensive line is garbage and you're getting rolled up all the time and your knee gets destroyed, it might take a little bit of time to get that pocket presence back. So that's what we're working through on the Bengals side. I'm sure you guys care, but you might get some updates on that in the future because I like watching the Bengals. Okay, let's talk about the market. I'm going to pull this up and let's talk about what's going on overall in the market in Cincinnati. And again, if you're on the stream, welcome. Thanks for being here. Be sure to add in the chat. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers. Loving it. And I appreciate you guys watching, liking, and subscribing. And more importantly, for those of you who have reached out and I'm getting to help you buy or sell a home in the area, thank you. That means so much, obviously, to me, my family, the business. And we're having a good time making this content. I hope it's helpful for you as you are not only trying to find the right place for your home, but even maybe thinking through the right financial decisions for your family. Obviously, the market has been kind of crazy the last few years, so can you cash in on that? Can that be beneficial for you? That's kind of what we're talking about. So let's look at this, few of these charts here. This first one I'm looking at is going back 2 years. It is the average. These are all the sold homes and the average and the median prices of homes. So if you look down here, going back to July of 19, we've got numbers through July of 21. This is for, I just did the Ohio side, but this is for the Claremont, Butler, Warren, and Hamilton counties, which in the greater Cincinnati area, that's the majority of where the home sales are going to be. We're going back 2 years. So 2 years ago, the average sale price was $258,000. It's now $322,000, a difference of $64,000 in average price. It's up 24.9%. Median price is tracking right behind it, was at $215, now at $267, and is also up 24%. So those are rising steadily. What I want to show you in this, though, is it's kind of hard to see with this line, but for the first, so this is June 2021 right here, this column, these two columns of the averages first and then the median price. And then here's July. And what you see is just a very, very slight downtick. June is slightly higher in terms of average price and median, and it's slightly lower in July. And so what does that mean? Does it mean we're seeing a crash? No, but if you go back, this is July of 2020. This column right here, and this is June of 2020, and you can see that didn't hit its peak until it started coming down in August. And so from June to July, there was an increase last year. This year, what we're seeing is we probably peaked in June in terms of average price, in terms of median price. So in terms of hitting its peak in the market, which it's obviously been a seller's market. So if you look over the last 2 years, it's a steady growth of 24% if you go back 2 years to July 2019. But we may have just peaked. Now, there's a couple factors in that. One is this is often the time of year when things start to slow down for a few months. You can kind of see that even back in 2019, August and September. A big reason is that is just the annual rhythm of the real estate market, meaning kids are going back to school. That's really the biggest thing, is kids are going back to school in August. They're in school in September, and so you usually start to see home sales starting to peak in July, and then go down in August and September a little bit, and then back up in the fall before kind of the holiday season. So that's the typical kind of flow, and that happened in 2019. You can see it peaked in July, came down in August, came down in September, came down in October, up in November. So after people are kind of settled back into the school year, you might get a boost in October or in November. Well, people are really buying them here, right? And they're closing in November. And then down December, down January, down February, and March starts the new kind of swing back up. So same thing kind of in 2020. It peaked in July, down in August, down in September, about the same in October, down in November. December was actually held its ground, and then January, February were slower, and then this year it's been each month, March, April, May, June, just kept going bam, 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 bam. That steady growth of sale price, low inventory, lots of buyers out there. But this year, what we're seeing right now, it hasn't slowed down tremendously, but instead of slowing down in August, it did slow down in July. And again, we've kind of talked about this before, but it's a little bit, in previous videos, it's a little bit of, there's so little inventory out there, and it's a little bit of buyer fatigue and also buyer selectivity, in that buyers know that they're having to pay a lot for a home right now, and so they want to make sure they're getting everything they want. And so they're being a little bit more picky. It's still obviously really hot, and then there's this buyer fatigue, which is maybe you went out there in May, maybe you went out there in June, maybe you got your brains kicked in and you lost on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offers, and you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna chill for a little bit. And I think that, combined with kids going back to school, come back with a little bit of buyer pickiness, is why we see ever so slightly, the numbers in July go down a little bit, as opposed to going up, which they did the last 2 years from June to July. And so that's just a little bit of a hint of where the market's at. It's still a good time to sell. It's still a hard time to buy, but there's a little bit of a pullback in the market. Now, the question I get from almost everyone who is looking to buy or sell a house is, hey, what do you think is going to happen? Is there going to be a big crash? We've talked about this a lot, but in terms of and we did a whole video on this last week, but in terms of the overall market fundamentals, it's kind of hard to see that, because the inventory is just simply not there. What most people are thinking when they think crash is they're thinking about the Great Recession. They're thinking about 08, 09, and they're thinking about all those people getting foreclosed on, and real estate prices just plummeting because there was a lot of inventory on the market and not a lot of buyers. And so that caused a steep the bubble burst, right? Well, most experts don't think this is a bubble right now. And the big reason why is back in 08, you had a lot of excess inventory. You had builders building like crazy because anyone who could fog a mirror was getting a loan, so they could sell everything. But the last decade, builders have been not building a lot of homes, so we have an undersupply of inventory on the market. The latest article I saw in the National Association of Realtors said that there was 5.5 million homes undersupplied across the nation, across America, in terms of the market. And so what that means is when inventory is low, when supply is low and demand is still high, it's hard to see a bubble that could pop. The other two big macro factors that are happening, well, one, there's the building, but secondly is millennials. There's a shift of millennials renting and living more in urban centers to wanting to buy a house now. And so getting loans while interest rates are still low, while they still can, moving out a little bit more of the urban into kind of the suburban areas and buying homes. And so that has kept the demand high. Interest rates low has kept demand high. And so that's where we're at. And so it's hard to see a bubble bursting right now. But what we did see in July, ever so slightly, at least in the Cincinnati market, is a slight pullback in the numbers. Let's look at this next chart. Let me put this back up here so you guys can see it. Okay, so different chart, but telling a similar story here. Supply and demand. Okay, want to make sure you can see this. Okay, supply and demand over the last 2 years, from July 2019 through end of July of 21. Again, same counties in Cincinnati: Claremont, Butler, Warren, Hamilton counties. And this red column is for sale. The purple is the under contract, and the green is sold. Now, the under contract and sold overall from July to July hasn't moved all that much. There's 7.7%. Let's see if I'm reading this right. Sorry, the sold is actually down, the green, 1%, and the under contract is up 7.7%. It's primarily a factor of inventory. And so what you've seen in the inventories is just continued to go down, 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 down. Overall, it's down from 2019, the amount of houses that are out there for sale. But again, what I wanted to look at is, in particular, July versus June. And so going back to 2020, what we saw was the inventory kind of hit its peak in May, slightly down in June, slightly down in July, then down in August, down in September, back up a little in October, down, down, down. And what we've seen in 2021 here is the inventory has been slightly going up. So it's still down overall from 2020 July, but the difference between June and July is that inventory went up slightly instead of going down slightly, if you guys can see that right here. Can you see my mouse? Oh no, I don't know if you can even see my mouse. Let's see here. Yeah. Sorry about that. But if you're looking, yeah. Oh, I need to figure out how to show my mouse, I guess. Yeah, I'll do that next time. I'll do that next week. Sorry about that. But if you're looking at the columns of June to July 20, what I'm saying is overall you're seeing inventory slightly go up. So prices slightly came down in July to June and inventory slightly went up. So it's not a burst, but you're seeing a little bit of a shift, a little bit of a pullback from that insanely hot market that we've been in. Okay. Hey guys, if you're watching this right now, feel free to jump in the chat. Welcome. As I mentioned before, I don't have a ton of time today. I've got to bounce out of here in about 15 minutes, as opposed to the hour that I've been trying to do on these lives. So feel free, if you have any questions or want to say hello, jump in the chat. Would love to get those answered for you as we go along. But right now, let's look at one more chart, which is the overall months of supply. And this, again, different chart, but kind of telling the same story. And let's see, make sure you guys can see this. If you look down in the bottom left corner, again, we're looking at Claremont, Butler, Warren, Hamilton counties. This is all single-family home sales, and this is the months of supply of inventory. So what that means is if no new inventory comes on the market, how long will it take to sell everything that's on the market based on the rate of sales under contracts and so forth. So back in July of 2019, that number was right at 2 months of supply, which was a very, very, very low amount of inventory. Here, and then in 2020, you see it's gone down. It's been a steady decrease of inventory. It hit its peak really in December of 2019, and then it's been going down steadily. But what you see again in these last two columns from June 21 to July 21 is the months of inventory went slightly up. Whereas if you compare that to last year, I guess it did go up slightly, but it was a little bit more of an increase this year. So you're starting to see just a tiny bit of pullback on the market in terms of what sellers are going to get. And as I'm talking to realtors, this is a constant conversation I'm hearing from them. I had some buyers go look at some houses. We went on Saturday and we saw, well, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8 houses, and many of those houses were on the market for 6, 7, 10 days. And that wasn't happening a few months ago. And they had one that they were considering putting an offer on. I reached out to the listing agent and she's like, "This is weird. Like, I can't believe I don't have an offer right now. I forgot what this is like." Because what we've been experiencing all year has been, you got a listing, you put it out there, you give instructions for multiple offers. You say, "We'll review all the offers on Sunday afternoon. We'll pick a winner, and me and my sellers will laugh all the way to the bank." That's basically what it's been like. But right now, everyone's kind of feeling this little bit of pullback, buyer fatigue, kids going back to school, buyers getting a little bit pickier, where it's like, okay, we're going to chill. We're not going to be offering $20,000 over asking price on everything unless it's like a home run. And so we're seeing inventory go up just slightly in July from June. So that's a little bit of where we're at in the market. I hope that makes sense. Just looking at this chart one more time for you guys, you can see overall since 2019, inventory is down, and so we're still in that seller's market. When you've got low inventory and high demand, low supply, high demand, prices are up. But maybe, just maybe, we're starting to see it cool off ever so slightly. So that's kind of where we're at in the market. So there's your update, guys. I hope that is helpful. Let's see. I want to show you, maybe I can give you guys an update on the channel here. show what's going on. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. But we have been continuing to climb. We just put out a video this week on staging your house, which a lot of people are kind of like, why would I need to stage my house if it's a seller's market? But we go into detail in that video on why you want to stage your house because, and especially given this market right now, when buyers are starting to pull back a little bit and starting to get a little bit more competitive, and you might not get multiple offers immediately, staging becomes all the more important because you want people to have an emotional experience when they come into that house. When people have an emotional experience, that's when they bid. That's when they get a little crazy with their bids. And so stagers can help you do that, which is wonderful. Let me show you a little behind the scenes here on where we are at with the channel. So here's that video I was talking about. And guys, we are at 947 subscribers. Holler. Thank you for that. Thank you for watching this channel. Let's see. 8,000 hours of watch time. So thank you guys for watching. I just want to, let's see. Most of you are coming in from our pros and cons videos, I think, of Cincinnati. That's the top one. But we see people looking at the jobs video, the cost of living, and then kind of where to live in Cincy, Mason, then some of these other neighborhoods. So thanks for watching this channel. If you haven't checked out some of these videos, please do, and let me know in the comments what you want to see more of. I've got some videos coming out of a few different neighborhoods, some patio homes on Fisher. I've done a lot on new construction, and a big part of that is because we've been in this market, and it's been really difficult for buyers to win on deals. And so it's like, hey, you might pay a little bit more of a premium for new construction, but for sure you're going to get the house you want. And if you're someone who might be coming in from out of town and you don't have a lot of time to see a lot of houses and you got to nail that down that weekend, you can go for it, and you can try to win in a competitive situation with potential houses. The other thing I've said is like, hey, let's go look at the houses that have been out there more than a week, more than 10 days, maybe gone through 2 weekends. There might be a better chance where everyone's not biting on it right away, and we can maybe put an offer on that versus something that pops up the first day. You're like, I love it, because a lot of other people might be thinking the same thing. So if you're in from out of town and you've only got a weekend to go look at some houses, I mean, surely I'm going to be showing you some different neighborhoods, get a feel for what it is like on the ground here in Cincinnati. We've looked at some of the different school districts you might want to be in, or whether you want to be closer to the city core or maybe out in the country a little bit more, have a little bit of land, whatever that is. We want to have a good strategy for getting you to buy the right house that is for you. And so that might mean, let's put an offer on something that is been out there a little bit. Or if something comes out and you're like, I got to have this one, then you probably need to be a little more aggressive, and that's fine too. That's a strategy but I would recommend probably making sure you're below your budget where that is on the list price, so that you can go make a competitive offer that could potentially go 10, 15, 20, maybe even 30. It depends on how competitive it is, over ask price. And you can say like, hey, that's still under my budget or at my budget, but we wanted to be competitive on that one because the finishes were great, or whatever it is that you super love about that house, and maybe other people do too. So that's kind of the strategies I talk with my buyers. There's like, be aggressive under your budget for something that you love. Maybe look at some that have been out there for a little bit that might be a little bit less competitive, but still a really good fit for you and your family. Or maybe look at new construction. Those are kind of the options that I'm trying to help buyers who are coming in from out of town think through. Okay, just a few more minutes here, guys, before I got to hop off. I've got a closing here at 3 o'clock, and I just wanted to give you a quick market update. I'm trying to think of other videos I've got coming up. I've got one that should be coming out soon about taxes, whether you live in Kentucky or Ohio, maybe which one you want to choose. I get that question a lot. I went to training camp, the Bengals training camp, so I've got kind of another fun one of just showing you what that looks like at Paul Brown Stadium. Just a simple video. My kids and my wife were down at my wife's grandmother's for the day at like vacation Bible school, and I was showing houses that morning, or actually we had a new construction contract that morning, and by the time I was finished with that appointment in the afternoon, I found myself with an hour or so, which is rare for a father of 5 children to have. And I was going to take my kids to that the training camp session because the Bengals do a really fun family day where it's free to get in. They've got like blow up games everywhere, like the inflatables, and you get to see the practice, and you get to be up close and personal with the players. You don't always get to do that during the year, so that's a really fun thing. So I've got that video coming out. I've got a few others I think loaded up in the queue, but I'm hoping these videos are helpful for you as you guys get a feel for Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky, and where you might be working, where you might be living. Trying to give you a feel for the different cities, different neighborhoods, especially when I'm out in the neighborhoods, and I can try to show you something. I can do more around like the businesses and restaurants and things like that, but you guys let me know if that would be helpful for you. The one I do want to do coming up is like a introduction to Cincinnati chili. One second here. And kind of there's basically, it's kind of a local food that people love, but it's weird. And I think there are like different stages of when you're first introduced to it to when you're first introduced to it, you're like, that's weird. It's like really soupy. There's so much cheese on it. Like it tastes not like any chili I've ever had before. And you're like, okay, that's kind of weird. I don't know why everyone's obsessed with it. And then like you basically go around and you see it on billboards and you hear it on commercials and you're like, okay, people like really like this thing. And then you're at a party one day and somebody serves you a Skyline chili dip. And you're like, oh, what? And it's basically like, it's basically this weird dip on cream cheese with chili with more cheese on top. And then you eat it with like a Frito scoop. And you're like, that's weird. But it is actually pretty delicious. And then it starts to get in your bloodstream. And by the end of the day, you're waking up at 2 a.m. and you're like, it's Skyline time. So that video might be coming because that's kind of what it's like to be a Cincinnati chili fan. Okay, guys, I got to roll. I don't see anyone jumping in the chat today in questions. So we'll pop in here next week and hopefully give you another chance to answer any questions you might have. Hope you're having a fantastic day, a fantastic week. If you got any questions about real estate or moving to Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, let me know. I've lived here for over 30 years now. I've lived on both sides of the river. I've got 5 kids here, and love people helping you find the right home. So what we believe at Team Sztanyo is that home is where families grow strong together, and it matters where you live. It's a character in your family's story, and so let's find the right place for you. And so we're very passionate about doing that. And when it comes to selling your home, we're passionate about helping you get the most amount of money and the least amount of hassle. And we've got some experience doing that, and a lot of happy clients. So, guys, have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. I got to roll. I'm closing on a flip that I had, so I'm very excited about that. And then I've got to go show some homes, and I got to get some listing contracts. I got a lot to do today, so I need to hire somebody. If you're looking to get into real estate, let me know and send me your resume. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. Team Sztanyo, Clanyo, love you guys. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. Hit that notification bell, and we'll see you later. Bye.